home runs and RBI. Returns 5 starters from last year's regional team and has a couple of lethal base stealers, including Hannah Thomason at the top of the lineup, trying to shut them down. In the circle for the Yellow Jackets, Morgan Bruce, a transfer from Ole Miss, who is off to a strong start so far in her first year at Georgia Tech. As you see, a 3-1 record, just shy of 40 innings pitched. The ERA currently sits at 3.59. A few walks in that mix, but she was especially impressive this past weekend in the Starkville Challenge over at Mississippi State, where Georgia Tech went 3-2. Key for Morgan is, according to her pitching coach, don't try to be too much of a perfectionist. Just let your pitches do the talking.
Right.
So leading off here is Hannah Thomason, left-handed hitting center fielder, who hits .286. She doesn't lead the team in strikeouts this year, but once she gets aboard, she is so dangerous. 65 stolen bases in her career. The junior.
Number 6, Hannah Thomason.
Native of Fayetteville, Georgia, graduate of Whitewater High School. As she steps in, our temperature is 66 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. And our time of first pitch, 5:03, and we are underway here at the Mew.
Yeah, Bruce really starting off strong. She's not wasting any time.
Jacket showcasing their all whites here, opening up an 8-game homestand here. Bruce, a transfer from Ole Miss, where she was a member of that All-SEC freshman team out of Roanoke, Virginia. Junior right-hander.
It's a perfect pitch when you're that far ahead in the count. You want to keep it off the corner, see how far that hitter's going to push that zone.
Katie Cruz expecting a slap at third base.
Yeah, the entire infield is crashing in.
And there it is, right back to Bruce. Out number 1 at first base. And a smooth start for the Yellow Jacket right-hander.
Yeah, it's just a really good pitching progression there by Bruce.
Let's take a look at the starting defense for Georgia Tech, and you'll note this group looks awfully similar to what we've seen throughout the year. The one change, Kelly Alebracht back behind the plate. This is her first start that comes in a non-double header, likely buoyed by her 4-for-4 performance in the final game in Starkville on Monday.
That's right. Eileen Morales has not been shy with that strategy. If you're hitting, you're going to find a place for you in the lineup on the field. It really keeps that competition when there's depth in the lineup, really keeps it going throughout the week.
Maddie Roth, first Division I All-American for Kennesaw State softball, and she sends a frozen rope into left, handled by Sky Webb. First-year head coach for Kennesaw State, Trip McKay. Spent a lot of time over in the Big 12, 2 years at Texas. Prior to that, 8 years in Norman with the Oklahoma Sooners, part of multiple Women's College World Series teams. Now in his first year as a head coach, he inherits a proud program right now, Kennesaw State.
Yeah.
Jade Lee in the box. Won 40 games 2 years ago, 39 last year, including their first ever NCAA tournament appearance at the D1 level.
Yeah, I've really seen a lot of improvement throughout the years for these Owls. They've always been a scrappy team, have always had a lot of talent, but really coming together and, tightening up those loose ends, and we've seen a lot of success come from it.
Softball the state of Georgia, rich in softball talent, but as you see through just their first couple of hitters, Maddie Roth out of Yorba Linda, California, transfer from Utah. And now here at the plate, Jade Lee out of Alberta, Canada. Lee off to a great start. Missed some time with an early injury, but so far in 6 games, this is her 6th start.
Yeah, really making use of those starts, those games that she's played.
7 for 15.
I'm sure they were happy to see her back in the lineup.
Ground ball sent sharply to first. Awald steps aboard the bag at first. A nice play by the former Kennesaw State Owl.
Yeah, not exactly, what I'm sure she wanted to do, but still a productive at bat, hitting behind that runner, allowing the runner to advance with less than 2.
Helicopter flying overhead. They better brace themselves as one of the greatest home run hitters in the Atlantic Sun right now steps in. That's Lexi Solorzano. Preseason all-conference selection. Her numbers this year, hitting .244, but leads the team with 11 runs scored. She's driven in 9 runs, including herself 6 times with those 6 homers. Helicopters cleared the airspace.
Yeah, they knew.
Hard hit grounder, ripped through the left side. Relay throw will be cut off. Run will score, but now they've got Solorzano in a pickle. Awald at first, not in time to apply the tag. An RBI single for Lexi Solorzano, and Kennesaw State draws first blood.
That was just great execution there by Solorzano. Exactly kind of what we expect to see from a hitter of her caliber in that type of position with runners in scoring position. You see she takes that inside pitch and really turns on it, connects with it right out front. Great throw out there in left by Sky Webb. Was cut by Cruz.
Holly Williams takes a called strike. And Haley, to your point, that was a big at-bat from Jade Lee to get Roth into scoring position.
Exactly, yeah. That's where, just because you didn't get the result you might have been looking for, as long as we're staying productive, that's the type of hitters that you need in your lineup.
Quickly 0-2 here on Raleigh Williams. Right fielder hitting .368 thus far, just her 6th start of the season, 7 for 19. Solorzano becomes the first Owl in 2019 to crack double digits in the RBI column. A couple of well-struck balls, and that's really the identity, I feel like, for both these teams. They can hit the ball and hit the ball with authority.
That's right.
Power-hitting lineups.
Yeah, and Bruce doing a really good job of owning her pitches. She's going right after the strikes, attacking the zone early, doing what she needs to do.
Balanced lineup for Kennesaw State. 4 lefties, 5 righties, and they've spread them out nicely.
Yeah.
Just missed her spot, did Bruce.
Yeah.
There's some action in the Yellow Jacket bullpen right now.
Looks like Barfield getting a couple warm-ups.
The lefty?
Yep.
And now that'll give Solorzano, the catcher, a head start at first base. Not much wind to speak of here on this Wednesday
Yeah, pretty
afternoon.
flat day. You've got everyone playing straight up.
Well, as we noted, hitters don't need the help.
Yeah, very true.
Not in these lineups. Slap to short. Zeitler, the freshman, a dart over to first. And that's the end of the top half, but Kennesaw State picks up an early lead as they get a run on 2 hits, including Lexi Solorzano's RBI single. Yellow Jackets headed to the plate when we come back. Beautiful afternoon in the Peach State for some college softball. The Kennesaw State Owls strike first in the top half. Here are the Yellow Jackets due up here in the home half, led by Brianna Roper. We touched on her in the open, hitting .480 this year, 24 hits already in just 14 games. With the top 4 hitters in that lineup, Haley, all slugging at least .690 and hitting no less than .325.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why they're pushed to that, or they're pushed forward toward the top. You want your batters who are going to get on base up at the front, which is exactly why Roper's standing there at the top of the lineup.
Meanwhile, they'll face Haley Andrews. That win-loss record not reflective of how well she has pitched. You ERA of 2.33 last year in 42 innings. Another transfer. First team all-conference back in 2016. Not a high strikeout pitcher, but works off a lot of weak contact. And that'll be tough to do, but against this top half of the Yellow Jacket quarter.
Right. I mean, that's the sign of a veteran pitcher, is being able to allow your defense to work, not struggling to, forcing those strikeouts, doing what you need to do to make the batters miss it.
Roper out of Woodstock High School, 3-time All-County. Go back to her freshman year. Hit just 203.
Yeah, Roper, she was a little more up and down last year. She had some really hot streaks, and then it would go silent a little bit. So I think that's the big difference this year, is she's trying to work on that consistency. And there it is.
Rocketed off the wall. Brianna Roper with another extra base hit. She is automatic. That is her 6th double of the season, leading the team.
And extending that on-base streak. First at bat.
There's a look at Kennesaw State's defense. It's a group that struggled this year. 30 errors already. Fielding just 928. That makes it tough for a pitcher,
about
right?
to say, with a pitcher like you got here.
And that probably explains why Haley Andrews, 29 runs allowed, only 19 of them earned. Kennesaw, on average, giving up 2 unearned runs per contest, and that can mean a lot in any softball or any level.
Exactly.
Here's Trisha Awell. It's an interesting game for her. Last time these two teams met, she scored the winning run in a walk-off action on a triple, but she was wearing black and gold.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is absolutely Georgia Tech's gain here. From what I understand, she is exactly the type of player that Georgia Tech needs and that usually gravitates towards a school like this. She's incredibly smart, incredibly strong, and does her job on the field.
I'd say she's a good match for the identity of
exactly,
the
yes.
academic
a student athlete.
Georgia Tech, and also has that Georgia Tech power.
And she is young. She's still an underclassman and, her first year with this program. But she's definitely one of those players who is kind of a silent leader. She does what she needs to do on and off the field, and she's the type of player that players just want to emulate.
Rather silent at bat, but effective, as Trisha Awell will jog down to first, setting the table for this highly touted Georgia Tech offense in year 2 under head coach Eileen Morales, delivering the signs. She might have to sign a little extra here this afternoon. Haley lost her voice going into this past weekend. She swears it was not on the field. Felt a little under the weather on the way over to Starkville, still battling a little bit.
That's tough. She seems to be getting some words out here.
Well, here we go. A mound visit early coming from assistant coach Camden Decker.
Yeah, there's no reprieve coming in the batters that you have coming up.
Seeing a double and a walk, and now Katie Cruz. The last time the Yellow Jackets took the field here at Mewborn, she had herself a day.
Yes.
A doubleheader, hit a couple of home runs, including one to straightaway center field into those evergreen trees.
I've noticed Cruz is kind of that type of player, kind of the she goes, they go type of player, but also when she goes, she really goes. It's, you'll notice that she's got a lot of multi-hit games, and when she's on, she's just really on.
Call her a heavy foot driver.
Yeah.
And quickly into a dangerous count. Roper at second, Awell at first. And a shallow pop-up down the right field line. Tough play, can't make it. Runner's got to step on the Jensen. Roper's going to circle around third, going home. The throw off target. And
great
the
look
trail
out there by Cruz.
able to get up to second and third. Great base running all around.
Great base run, and that's when, Eileen Morales was sending her as soon as she saw that ball get behind right field. Coming in, had it been a better throw, could have gone either way, but I think it was the right decision. As soon as you see that ball passing Williams, and she's on it. And then Cruz, paying attention on the back half there and taking that extra base, that is huge because now you have a free base and 2 runners in scoring position, less than 2.
Crosby Huckabee hitting .414, 12 for 29 with 9 RBI.
Yeah, Crosby Huckabee, another hitter that's really fun to watch. She's really patient and has a calmness and just one of those kind of unspoken swaggers that you can't really teach. I love watching her hit, and when she's really seeing the ball, she does a great job.
Our score 1-1 right now. Beg your pardon with our score bug difficulties, but we're in the bottom of the first. Nobody out. Second and third, our score again 1-1. 1-1 our score. Jackets looking for more here. Crosby Huckabee, junior out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, sends one off the glove and out at first base. Diving effort by Maddie Roth to salvage the play, but because she couldn't make the catch, Awald comes in to score. And Katie Cruz moves up 90 feet to third, so that's one way to get the job done.
Yeah.
What'll go in the books as an RBI ground out.
Yeah, I think they're going to take another look at that. That was one just hit really hard. That would have been a great play. Does a great job of trying to recover from that and still getting an out somewhere. But again, good base running there by Awald, recognizing it down immediately and taking the base.
Georgia Tech pounded out 13 hits in their win over Mississippi State on Monday night. Coach Eileen Morales just chatting with first base umpire Donald Brown, part of a 3-man crew this afternoon. Richie Sexton at third, calling balls and strikes Steve Warner.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a meeting here. Taking a look at that, it was close, but I think it could have kind of gone either way.
No doubt.
Yeah, they're maintaining the call. That's a hard one to flip, honestly. I could have seen it going either way, but tough to change your mind there. It's got to be argued, though, if I'm Eileen Morales. We can see
Here's
here.
Here's a look from our center field camera. Oh, wow.
That one, I'd be calling safe, too, if I was on Georgia Tech's side. But again, productive at bat, productive out, really.
Give an RBI to Crosby Huckabee. And here is Sky Webb. She's hitting 5 straight.
I really like Sky Webb in the 5-hole here. She's a really versatile hitter. She's got the power to stand in that 5-hole, but you can see she's walking through her slapping steps as well, and she's got some speed with 3 stolen bases on the year.
2-1 our score. Georgia Tech answering Kennesaw's run at the top of the first with 2 of their own here in the home half. And that's what I would call a devastating off-speed, that last pitch, right?
Yeah, that one's tough. And as a slapper, I can tell you those are tough. You got to recognize them really early because you're already moving toward the pitch, and you start your steps based on that timing.
So 2-1 here on Sky Webb. Slap hitter for Georgia Tech.
And there's just a lot. Yeah, there's a lot she can do here. She can lay down a drag bunt for a hit with less than 2.
And smokes right back up the middle, and credit Sky Webb with an RBI single. Katie Cruz comes in to score. And with 1 out here in the bottom of the first, it's Georgia Tech 3, Kennesaw State 1.
Yeah, Georgia Tech just doing what they need to do. That's a great execution there by Sky Webb. As a versatile hitter, you can slap. She pushes it through. You can see they were playing her a slapper defense where the infield was playing up and kind of crashing in right on that baseline. So she did a great job just popping it right past them.
Called strike 1 on Drew Puckett. She's won that designated player position with her strong hitting this year. A .293 average to go along with 6 walks. Count leveled up at 1-1. Drew out of Beaufort, Georgia. Beaufort High grad. Late on that heater. Now on a 2-strike count.
Yeah, as a DH, you're not coming up here to watch pitches. She's wanting to get her money's worth, wanting to see that time.
Nice job working in and out here from Haley Andrews.
You can see the Jackets are coming up to the bat with an approach, and so I think that's really good execution there by Andrews to mix them up, mix her spots.
That one caught a little hard on the plate, but gathered by Mullen. Cates then on to first, and they'll just get the one. So 2 down now, runner aboard at first. Georgia Tech with a 3-1 lead here in the opening inning.
Yeah, I kind of just missed that one, rolled over it a little bit. Still hit pretty hard. Handled really well out there by Mullen.
Cam Stanford slow out of the gate here as a sophomore after earning all conference honors last year. Takes called strike one, but after a home run on Monday night against Mississippi State, part of Georgia Tech's first win over an SEC opponent since 2015, she's starting to find her stride. Coach Mo said she had good at-bats throughout the day, not just the home run. Lofted down the line and out of play. 0-2 here on the sophomore from Alpharetta, Georgia, and Alpharetta High.
Yeah, and this type of performance curve isn't really unheard of. You see a lot of times freshmen will come into that first year and just really crush it, partly because people, other opponents don't have video on you. They don't really know what to expect. And then partly because you yourself as a player don't really know what to expect. And so you kind of, if you don't make the game bigger than it is, sometimes you kind of take it in stride and you perform really well. Then that second year comes, you're starting to kind of settle into your performance. So, have no doubt that she will rise up and kind of come out to where she was before.
Swing and a miss there, and that'll wrap up the first inning. But Georgia Tech scores 3 times on 3 hits. RBI singles from Katie Cruz and Sky Webb. 1 runner left aboard, and after one, it's Georgia Tech 3, Kennesaw State 1. From the corner of 8th and Fowler Mewborn Field, fireworks already through 1 inning of play. A 3-1 lead for Georgia Tech, and both these teams have come out of the gate swinging the bats hot. As you take a look at their stats, particularly when it comes to scoring runs. Kennesaw State 63 in their 15 games, averaging more than 4 runs, and then Georgia Tech averaging an even 6 runs per game. Haley, what sticks out when you compare these 2 teams and their numbers?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing kind of even numbers when it comes to hits at 118 to 100. But when you look at the RBIs, that's where they really separate themselves. So I'm seeing 86 RBIs on the year for Jackets and only 59 RBIs for the Owls. So, proving you got to get the hits when they matter. The hits are always important, but need them when you got runners in scoring position.
Well, both teams got a hit with a runner in scoring position.
That is true.
In the last inning, Lexi Solorzano came through for Kennesaw State with 2 outs. Jackets with big extra base hit from Bria Roper to begin things.
Yeah, I'm predicting this is one of those games where you can't really let your foot off the gas for 1 inning. This is going to be one of those exciting ones where we're seeing some action in each inning.
Yeah, you usually hear about crooked numbers deciding the game. This could be a day where if you throw up a couple zeros, you're
That's
all right.
right.
There we are. 1-2 count here on the DH Bria Dickey. Out of Lawrenceville, Georgia, transfer from UGA. Slaps one softly into center, collected by Cam Stanford.
Second base for number 99.
Easy first test for her in the outfield. Do you prefer that instead of having to slam on the accelerator with a hard hit ball off the wall?
Absolutely not. I preferred the hard hit balls, or at least having to move either side. Those balls that look super easy that are hit straight at you, those to me were the hardest ones.
Hard to get that read. Pitch called for a strike. Taylor Cates following up number 1 in the lineup with number 99. Hitting just 156 this year. Second baseman, a true freshman out of Cherokee High School, Canton, Georgia. Ooh, nice change
Great
of pace
pitch
from Bruce.
Again, Bruce doing a really good job hitting her spots tonight.
Not only was it a nice pitch call, but very well executed. Saw that late arm side fade with a change up, perhaps.
Yeah, kind of that slow curve that you see.
And that one just lobbed into center field for a base hit.
Yeah, Kate's doing a good job, not trying to do too much with it. Seeing ball, hitting ball, just kind of hitting it right back where it's pitched.
So Kate with her 6th hit of the season, now 33 at bats. Got to think that head coach Trip McKay's got to be satisfied with that from his freshman, just trying to simplify things.
Yeah, absolutely. And then kind of serving as that second leadoff. Now you have a little bit of speed out there to be followed up by the most speed.
So Kate's aboard at first with 1 out. Georgia Tech with a 3-1 lead, top of the 2nd inning. And Olivia Goki, who has been red hot over her last 5. She is 4 for 8 with 5 runs and 4 stolen bases. 42 career stolen bases. And lays down a bunt. Only 1 play. Bruce makes it. So it'll go in the books as a sacrifice, and now Kennesaw will look for another key 2-out hit with runner in scoring position, and they turn to their senior, Jessie Mullen.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of a player like Goki. When you're in a sack bunt situation, you put that down, it could easily go in as a hit if she took a little bit off of that. But the most important thing about that is that the ball went straight down to the ground. There was no lag time, and that's what you need to see when you've got runners who need to advance when they see the ball hit the ground.
Jessie Mullen, recognized earlier this year as the collegiate female athlete of the year in her hometown of Niceville.
Oh, I've been there. It's nice there.
Not the first time Tech fans have heard the city of Niceville, Florida, by the way. True freshman All-American on the football field, Wanye Thomas out of Niceville High.
That's right.
A couple big electric kick returns. Now, with all that said, I've heard it's a common misconception, and not that Niceville isn't nice, I've heard it's great. But when you get Iceland and Greenland mixed around,
yeah, I learned
Iceland's
that in Mighty
very
Ducks.
nice, yeah.
That's
D2.
That's where you learned it.
I wasn't going to rat out my source that quick, but
I will.
yeah, no doubt.
I'm proud of it.
Emilio Estevez, Gordon Bombay, the Triple Deke, 3-1.
Quack.
There's a 2-out walk to Jessie Mullen out of the 9 spots. Now 2 on, 3-1 lead for Georgia Tech. And Hannah Thomason stepping back up.
Yeah, this is an interesting situation for a slapper to be in because you're not used to having to kind of advance your runners, not used to having to get much power behind it. And so this is where adding a lot of versatility into what you bring to the table is going to come into play.
First pitch strike there from Bruce. Georgia Tech with 3 runs in the bottom of the first on a couple of RBI singles from Katie Cruz and Sky Webb.
Ooh, that's the one you got to swing at. That was perfect for a slapper. Kind of that mid to outside corner of the plate allows you to kind of let it get deep and hit it through the 5-6 hole. Bruce did a good job Thomason's last at bat of kind of cramming her inside.
Well, that time she goes outside and still able to find the out as Hannah Thomason slams the bat in disgust. Morgan Bruce works around a 1-out single, a 2-out walk, and concludes with this punch out to wrap up the second. Georgia Tech with a 3-1 lead as we march to the bottom of the second here at Mewborn Field. These two teams regular foes, meaning for the 26th time, the Yellow Jackets having taken 17 of those first 25. But last time out, it was an epic battle into the 10th inning.
Yes.
Kennesaw State with the walk-off win in Kennesaw thanks to a game-winning triple. And racing all the way from first base home, Trisha Awald, now a present Yellow Jacket, and do a fourth in this inning. That's an interesting storyline. Awald, who won Freshman of the Year in the Atlantic Sun, part of that first ever Division I NCAA regional team in Kennesaw, took her talents down I-75 following a coaching change, and now making her home here at Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Bailey Zeitler, meanwhile, she's probably one of the more praised freshmen in the ACC, especially with her defense at short. Began the year hitting the leadoff spot, got moved down the last couple games, trying to take a little pressure off the freshmen.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, you're starting off with a lot of pressure. You're starting off with a lot of expectations, being in such a leadership role in the shortstop position as well as the leadoff spot. So, every spot in the lineup is important, and personally, if you're going to be in the shortstop role, I want to see you doing well there. She's very comfortable in that role. You can really see she fits there. Shortstop is definitely her home.
Well, one encouraging sign when you look at her offensive numbers, yes, the batting average not where she wants it to be, but ratio of walks to strikeouts pretty good, isn't it? 8-4?
Yeah. She'll see the balls for sure.
So it's a matter of
she's going to be swinging.
Just trying to make better contact.
That's right. And that comes,
So leadoff walk. And now here is Kelly Ellebrock, who might be the hottest hitter in the Tech lineup if you count only the last game where she went 4 for 4. On the year, she's 5 for 14, came in that afternoon against Mississippi State hitting 100, and now she's kind of jacked up to 357.
Yeah, Ellebrock is another one who really kind of snowballs off of her own success. And, she's had some dips in performance at the plate occasionally, but when she's on, she's very on.
Also threw out a runner on Monday is Zeitler getting her lead, trying to break up this double play. That was tailor-made, though. No chance for the Yellow Jackets to stay out of that one.
There.
And that is the 6th twin killing of the year for Kennesaw State's defense.
Yeah, Cates and Mullen doing a great job of rolling that up. You got a senior and a freshman coming together.
Not all that different from the Georgia Tech infield in a way. Of course, you got two underclassmen up the middle, but with Katie Cruz, a senior veteran at third base.
Yeah.
Although she, I suppose, is in her first year at third base. So Bria Roper with 2 down, bases empty, fouls it away. One more look at that double play turn by Mullen and Cates.
So you can see hit well. Cates does a great job of taking it in, not holding it too long, and getting it out.
It's that old phrase, be quick but don't hurry.
That's right. Go very fast but take your time.
Take your time. Don't rush it, but get over there quick. That was kind of how some people try and make it through traffic this time of the day.
Was me on the way here. Trying to work that off speed. I think that's a good choice there.
Bria Roper dangerous in any count right now. And Haley, I'm going to test your memory bank here, but was Bailey Zeitler, I was going to say, did she have that eye black going into the start of the season? Or that's something she picked up from her sophomore double play tandem, Bria Roper. She's got it on today.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm wondering, I hadn't seen that before.
If Roper's hitting, I'm taking her war paint. I'm taking her hair ties.
I'm seeing if I can borrow the bat.
That's right. Let me use your deodorant.
Called strike at the knees.
Great pitch there by Andrews.
And a nice job of rebounding after the leadoff walk. Still faces just 3 hitters in the second. and polishes off Georgia Tech's leading batter with a called strike 3. Welcome back to the Mew. Georgia Tech with a 3-1 lead over Kennesaw State, looking for another win to tack on what was a successful weekend in Starkville, part of the Alex Wilcox Memorial Snowman Tournament. Nice win over Mississippi State to wrap things up, and perhaps an underrated win to those who don't follow Division I softball that closely, but Southeastern Louisiana, none too shabby as a mid-major. As Bruce leaps ahead of Matty Roth, Atlantic Sun Tournament MVP, as the Owls took both the regular season and conference tournament crown last year. She was a big part of it. Second team All-Conference, third team All-American. And that right there tells you how good the conference was last year in the A-Sun. They were sixth in RPI.
Yeah, that's always kind of a sleeper conference. Not necessarily a Power 5, but always has a lot of good talent. You know, the top 4 teams or so in the conference are always, you know, stack them up against anybody else in the Power 5.
No, and you've only got really the big leagues ahead of them. You know, American Athletic was ahead of them in RPI. Got the SEC, the Big 12, the Pac-12, and the ACC. So, again, aside from those 5 leagues ahead of them, Kennesaw State and the Atlantic Sun, one of the stronger softball conferences off the beaten path, if you will. Ball and a strike here on Roth. Cap down the line and out of play. Three hits for both sides so far through 2 innings. All of our runs this afternoon coming in the first. Bruce able to strand a couple when she struck out Hannah Thomason to lock down the second. Her first punch out of the day, looking for another. Not going to get it here, but a chance for Zeitler and the freshman. Cool, calm, and collected out of that high arm slot.
Yeah, Roth was trying to work that outside pitch, try to take it opposite field, but did a pretty good job of connecting with this more inside pitch, but Zeitler handling it perfectly.
Spoke with head coach Eileen Morales before the game, and she was talking about Bailey's ability to read swings. And that's something that a called strike on the corner. You know, I've heard some people say it's a lost art nowadays with the evolution of travel ball, and you know, that's not something that gets on the report when college coaches are looking at you, at least their first look. And Coach Morales pushed back a little bit. She said she feels like there's still players today who can do it, but certainly not everyone. But that's a big reason why Bailey was such a prized recruit for Coach Mo and the Georgia Tech program, is they just felt so confident in her softball IQ.
Right, and that's one of those things, you know, of all the showcases that you go to, the skills camps, you can't really emulate that. And to be a gamer and really be able to have, like you said, that softball IQ, that's something that you just have to see when you're watching a player play in an actual game.
Jade Lee at the dish, 0 for 1, grounded out to first in the first. Lee from Red Deer, Alberta. Transfer from Iowa Western Community College. You had some insight on Niceville. What do you hear about Red Deer?
Yeah. Sorry, I don't have any cousins that live there.
Not yet.
Yeah.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Doing a good job working the count here. She had good connection on her last at bat, but just missed it. Kind of got 2 in front of it. So I think trying to let the ball get deeper.
7 for 16 on the year. Missed the first couple weeks of the season with an injury, but rolling now. Another big loss for Kennesaw State, not available today, and has missed a couple games now this year, would be Kira Circulus, senior from Semi-Valley, California for Trip McKay. That is a key bat he doesn't have in his lineup right now. Their leading hitter hitting .355. Hard hit right to first. Ewald gloves it on the heel.
Ewald positioned perfectly there. That was hit hard. Had Ewald been playing kind of straight up with the base, that would have been a tough play to make. You see, she just crushes it. Ewald playing perfectly back behind that first base.
And again, I think there might be some books out there that suggest Jade Lee a dead pull hitter, which means Tricia was locked in from the first pitch.
They knew.
Dead. There's a right-handed slugger, Lexi Solorzano. Takes ball one. Boy, between Tricia Ewald and Lexi Solorzano, they
That was a tough freshman class, yeah.
No question. Both members of the all-freshman team. Tricia edging out Solorzano for Atlantic Sun all-freshman team, or freshman of the year honors. Between Ewald and Solorzano, that was a big reason why Kennesaw State was able to get to the NCAA tournament for the first time at the Division I level since joining in 2006.
For sure. And, I mean, just look at Solorzano's hacks. She is swinging out of her shoes, and she's swinging with a purpose. That's exactly the type of swings that you want out of your cleanup hitter. And getting the hits when it counts with that first inning RBI.
Value shopper.
Yes. Efficient.
Bruce back atop the slab. Listener spots here. And a good eye on the part of Solorzano as well. Reached in 11 straight games now with that single in the first. And 6 homers in their last 9. This off the end of the bat, a little spinner over to Roper. Fields and unfurls on first. 1-2-3 inning from Morgan Bruce. We go to the bottom of the third. It's Georgia Tech with an early lead. Bottom of the third inning, Georgia Tech with 3 first-inning runs. Gives them an early lead. There's a look at the last weekend for Kennesaw State, headed out to Houston, where they did pretty well from the schools not from Houston and lost an extra inning affair against the Cougars, and then fell 6-0 in that second game. But nobody played better that weekend than Olivia Goki, left fielder for the Owls. Went 4 for 8 with 5 runs, 4 stolen bases. Looked awfully sharp, and this is a dynamic Kennesaw State offense, but their weaknesses have been defense, and we even saw some of that in the first inning. No errors officially charged, but a misplay out there in left center, and then a missed opportunity with a runner on that RBI single from Katie Cruz, and on top of that, a couple runners picked up a few extra bases. So again, no official errors, but I can promise you head coach Trip McKay knows that's an area that needs to be cleaned up.
Absolutely. If I'm Coach McKay, every single practice, I'm putting my team in high-pressure defense situations, playing 21 outs. That's what we used to play in practice, and it was always just, you know, you couldn't end practice until you get 21 straight outs with 0 mistakes. And, you know, it always kind of got us in the zone. You know, it's high pressure. So that's, I mean, if I'm him, that's what I'm focused on every single practice, is locking up my defense, because that's really the difference maker in these games. You can hit all day and, you know, be power hitting, have all the averages you want, but at the end of the day, if you don't have the defense to back it up, you're just going to have high scoring losses.
Well, Ewald did all she could to wait on that pitch.
That was a great look there. I see what she was trying to do, but really good pitch there by Andrews.
I mean, Tricia about had time to yawn in between when it was released and when it got to the plate. All about throwing off timing, and so far Haley Andrews did a nice job of that in this at-bat.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what you have to do. You have to mix your spots, mix your speeds.
Trip McKay looking on. Year 1 at Kennesaw State. Called strike 3 at the knees.
Pitch.
Wow, Haley Andrews, she has punched out the 2 leading hitters for Georgia Tech on a couple of perfect pitches.
Yeah, that's tough to lay off of, especially with 2 strikes. You got to be swinging.
So third strikeout of the day for Andrews. As Katie Cruz lays off a pitch high. Katie out of Orland Park, Illinois. Team best 6 home runs this year. And there's a shot towards the Tech bullpen. I mean, that was right from the hip pocket, too.
Cruz loves those those loud fouls. So I'd be on the lookout for an off-speed here in the next pitch or two.
If they presented a choice, I suppose you prefer a loud foul as opposed to a loud fair if you're the pitcher, but I don't think you like anything. Yeah, no way she was pulling that one.
Right.
Katie making that switch to third base. Thus far, only one error on the year. Little bounder over to Mullen. Quickly retires out number 2. That's now 5 in a row, or beg your pardon, 4 in a row set down by Haley Andrews.
Mullen doing a good job handling her spot out there. Has played really well tonight, locking up.
And she's rock solid there at short. Look like perfect mechanics. A low strike here on Crosby Huckabee. She had a laser to first base where Maddie Roth couldn't make the catch but was able to knock it down and beat Huckabee to the bag her first time up. Tied her up
Andrews really settling in, hitting her spots well right now. That was a beautiful rise ball there.
Well, no lack of support from the third base dugout. And Crosby, for as well as she played last year, you go back and say, hey, she was one of your top hitters. Did not hit very well in the fall or in preseason, and so with that in mind, she wasn't necessarily the first choice at that outfield corner spot, but she has done nothing but hit since then. And in some ways, you sit here and say she's almost challenging the coaching staff to take her out of the lineup.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what you got to do when you're on the cusp like that. You make it as hard of a decision as you possibly can.
Well, right now there's really no difficulty in the decision at all. She's hitting .414. That could be out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, Baylor High School. And this a one-hopper kicks off the glove of Jade Lee. Huckabee safe at first, and we'll see how that goes in the book. I would guess an error, although it was hard hit.
Yeah, and she kind of was reaching for it. I don't know. Just a lot of strength in Huckabee's swings. She's not wasting any hack that she takes, and that's where you start to force mistakes like that to happen, or force them to make a phenomenal play.
And they will charge Lee with an error. That is the 31st misplay defensively for Kennesaw State this year.
That's why it's important to continue to hit the ball on the ground. I know we all love the long ball, but
Webb pushes it out in front of the plate, but they'll say it was foul, and it hit her out of the box. So that'll end the third inning just like that. Sky Webb thought she had another bunt base hit, but instead that's the end of the third. Haley Andrews survives the 2-out error. There's one more look at it. We go on a break. Trisha Awald, her first year as a Yellow Jacket since transferring from Kennesaw State, enjoying a 3-1 victory as she sets up for the top of the fourth at first base. And you can see she's had 2 really phenomenal years at Division I level.
Yeah.
But changing the uniform color slightly from black and gold to white and gold, and changing her first name slightly, moving from Patricia to Trisha.
Yes. New school, new me.
Nobody knows you. You can be a totally different person.
until your old school comes
Yeah,
to play.
exactly. It's like, hold on a minute. 0-2 quickly here on leadoff hitter for Kennesaw State, Riley Williams.
Ooh.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Riley Williams back to the bench. Another strikeout for Bruce. That's her second.
And that's a good pitch there by Bruce. It was kind of deceptive, curved there. Looks like that final ditch effort to just kind of try to touch it there.
Yeah, it seemed like Riley would rather go down with the bat off her shoulder than on it. So here's Bria Dickey, one of 4 left-handed bats in the lineup for Kennesaw State. 0 for 1 this afternoon, flew out to center.
Dickey's got some speed here, hidden in the middle of the lineup with 7 stolen bases on the year.
Yeah, they've spread it around. You've got 2 players with more than 40 career stolen bases, Olivia Goki in the 8 spot, and Hannah Thomason in the 1, but it's Bria Dickey who leads the team this year, 7 for 7, hitting in the 6 hole.
And that's just a huge value add. If you're not a traditional speed player, or if you're a power hitter or a gap hitter, to be able to steal bases and kind of make your own situations happen, just really adding more to your arsenal is a huge advantage.
Well, a 3-0 count here. She may have a chance to test her wheels. And she won't do a dead sprint out of the box, but we'll keep an eye on her at first as she motors on down to picking up the walk.
Maybe I'm not watching the right games, but I feel like this year I haven't seen as many stolen bases in any of the softball games that I'm watching. And I miss that. I see a ton of home runs if you've been keeping up. Florida State has been just mashing down there.
As they're known to do.
Right. 4 times this season already they've had back-to-back home runs. And it's just a lot of home runs. Not just with them, but, you know, Florida, Oklahoma, Georgia Tech, we're seeing a lot of home runs.
For the Jackets on the year, 15 homers, just 7 stolen bases. A nice blend, though, for Kennesaw. They got the 13 dingers, but 17 steals, and like we said, Bria Dickey who takes off on that pitch.
Yeah, she was going on the pitch.
Well, I guess obviously you got to play to your strengths a little bit, but I think Georgia Tech does have some team speed. Sky Webb has swiped 3 bags. Bailey Zeitler has swiped 2.
You've got some speed in the dugout ready to come on with Sydney Stavro.
Punched out to the second baseman. Roper tries to apply the tag, whiffs, but feeds ahead to second to get the lead runner.
That was kind of an interesting situation. Kind of hit it off the end of the bat. Didn't have as much on it as it probably looked like. Awald not quite sure if she can get it. Roper doing a good job staying calm and getting the out where she can, especially the lead runner.
Looked like you were playing pool out there, and a little cue shot towards the right side. Georgia Tech 3-1 lead, scored their 3 runs on 2 hits in the first. Strike 1.
I might have cursed both teams with my prediction that we were going to score every inning.
I beg your pardon. Actually, of the 6 hits we've had so far tonight, 5 of them came in the first inning. One and 2 here on Goki. If nothing else, you do take Dickey off first base and put Taylor Cates there, who, with all due respect, isn't quite the runner that Bria Dickey is.
Hanging in there, getting some bat on it.
Sun setting here in Midtown Atlanta, just above the first base dugout here at Shirley Clements Mewborn Field. 10th anniversary coming up next month. How much of a selling point was that for you when you were coming through as a recruit, knowing that there'd be a new facility coming in?
Yeah, I think it's a much bigger deal now than it was, but when I was able to come to a game here, I was kind of sold. There was nothing. I had never been to any place like it.
Well, there goes down Olivia Goki. Swing and a miss. Couple punch outs for Morgan Bruce. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Georgia Tech up 3-1.
It's pretty sick.
Bottom of the fourth inning, Georgia Tech 3, Kennesaw State 1. There's a look at Kennesaw State catcher Lexi Solorzano, one of 3 preseason all-conference selections for the Owls. Maddie Roth suiting up at first base, and Kira Circulus not available this afternoon. Missed a couple of games this year. That's a big loss, but
yeah.
I know they've lost some transfers with the change in leadership after Pete Demore moved on to Blacksburg after winning 79 games in 2 years with Kennesaw State. But so far, Trip McKay has come in, hired at the end of June last year. A longtime softball assistant veteran in the Big 12, now getting his chance as the captain of the ship, if you will. And he's got some talented hitters still working on that defense, as we talked about. Drew Puckett stepping in, native of Beaufort, Georgia. Celebrating her birthday in a couple days on Friday. No better way than with the I-75 Challenge.
Absolutely. If you have a season birthday, you want to win on that birthday.
That's a non-negotiable.
Yes.
Do you have a season birthday?
I had the January birthday where it was 4-hour practices. And
in 30-degree weather.
So, yeah.
Still better than the finals week birthday.
Oh, agreed.
That was rough.
Because no one cares it's your birthday.
Especially in first semester, too, when it's just cold outside.
Yeah. No one's excited.
No.
But alas, we lived through it.
Yeah. Well, I personally didn't, but people have. 1-2 here on Puckett.
Kind of fighting that pitch off.
Yeah, it was either that or take it on the hip. Won 4 state titles in high school at Beaufort.
Yeah, coming from a powerhouse.
Swing and a miss. That was a power breaking ball there.
Yeah, that was a great pitch. Again, Andrews from about the second inning on has really locked in her pitches.
No, I'm right here with you, sitting up, starting to wonder how much do I think I know again? We thought we were gonna, it was gonna take 10 runs to win this thing, and it still might be the case, quite frankly. But so far, after 4 runs in the first, we've seen nothing but bagels these last couple innings. Cam Stanford trying to do something about that. 0 for 1 today so far this year. She's got a couple homers. Still hitting below 200 though.
Yeah, Stanford, another one who was just one of those staple freshmen last year and did a phenomenal job. There's that off-speed pitch. That's a great pitch when it falls in there for a strike.
You're sitting there and you're looking at it's going to be high rise ball, something like that.
Kind of takes a double take.
Yeah, I would use the term parabola, but it's too often on this campus as it is. We're not trying to work in more of those. As Sanford ropes one to left field, and that'll clear the wall. Her 3rd home run is an utter rocket. Hardly got high enough off the ground to clear the fence.
Yeah, that was a liner.
But Cam Stanford tucks it inside the left field foul pole, and Georgia Tech with a 4-1 lead on her 3rd homer of the season and her 2nd in as many games. Look at her turn on this thing.
Yeah, took that low inside pitch and did exactly what she's supposed to do with it. Went down there, connected with it, and lifted.
That is Georgia Tech's first hit since the first inning. But Cam Stanford makes up for lost time with that round tripper. 16th home run of the season for the Yellow Jacket offense. And now here, Bailey Zeitler. Upon second look, though, Haley, I'm supremely confident now. Bailey's borrowing that eye black look from Bria Roper.
Well, again, not the worst technique I've seen.
Tell you what, that's quite the duo, though, if you ever start pulling into second and you're seeing those two looking at you.
Wish more people wore it off the field.
Yeah. Imagine those two walking into class. Sitting front row taking notes.
Hello.
So Andrews not intimidated thus far. How much of that home run from Cam Stanford's good hitting versus a mistake pitch? I think it was pretty low.
Yeah, I mean,
not a terrible spot.
I think it hung a little bit too far in the zone where it was not intended to. I think you know was intended to kind of screw a little bit more inside. But again, credit to Stanford for recognizing it early and turning on it and connecting with it out front.
Bailey Zeitler draws her team-leading 10th walk, now even with Trisha Awald. And that's one thing for Bailey. Average is what it is right now, but that on-base percentage continuing to climb up above 340 now with those 2 free passes.
Exactly, and you know this is kind of a big trend these days in both baseball and softball, but batting average is not the most important metric anymore.
Although Kaylee Ellebrecht lays down a perfect bunt, and now the throw kicks off of the second baseman.
That was a lot.
That was a lot. I take that was actually the center fielder, Hannah Thomason, who came in and couldn't field that ball. So with that, we've got a bunt single here from Kaylee Ellebrecht. A brilliant effort on the part of Jade Lee comes up just short.
Yeah, that was super close, and that's again where you want to get that bunt straight down and hung it a little bit too far. Good effort there. That's where that center fielder has to come in. Got to have that ball there.
No, that just shows you more of the defensive miscues for Kennesaw State. That'll go as, like we said, a bunt single. Zeitler takes third on an error. But I've got to think it's going to be charged to Thomason. And now runners in the corners with one out for Bria Roper. We got a pinch runner coming in, Ariella Jackson. Zeitler aboard at third.
Number 73, Jackson.
We got to come up with some type of nickname for that double play duo with the eye black mixed in.
I know. I like it.
There's something there.
I don't have anything yet, but we're on to something.
And they look like the better half of Kiss, right? A little rock and roll. We got Star Child at the plate.
We got to get Cruz with the little cat face.
Exactly. That'll be the goal for the whole infield. They got the middle taken care of. Let's see if they can convince Trisha and Katie.
Eileen Morales would say go.
Yeah. It all shook up there on the infield. And Roper can't straighten that one out. Why do you think she's been able to make such a jump here as a sophomore?
Yeah, Roper is one who, again, was kind of up and down her freshman year. She had some really bright spots, some really big hits. This year, her approach has been just to simplify, just really see ball, hit ball, and not try to do too much with it. And I think that strategy has really paid off for her. And in practice, Coach Morales, Coach Maricondo are doing a good job of putting the hitters in high-pressure situations too. You know, it's great to get hits, but if they're all empty hits, what does that do for you? So really putting them in situations where they're used to performing with runners in scoring position. So I think that's really been kind of the two biggest pieces to Roper's success so far.
Well, and that's something Reese Maricondo, assistant coach for Georgia Tech, first base coach on a game day, as quick mound conference here between Andrews and Solorzano. But Maricondo just always, whether she was a player or an assistant prior to arriving at Georgia Tech, she has been the high-intensity coach on this staff, which is really saying something, considering who is at the helm, and Eileen Morales. But the two of them, they really pride themselves on creating a high level of intensity in practice, so therefore the game feels no different.
That's right. Where it turns into the game is almost the easy part.
And Brianna Roper does her job. Brings Bailey Zeitler home to make it 5-1 Georgia Tech. Another crooked number now on the board. But again, this doesn't result in a run if not for the error earlier in the inning.
Exactly, and that's where, that softball karma, good teams take advantage of mistakes.
Has a softball Dalai Lama been anointed yet? When it comes to the karma and all that type of stuff?
I'll put my application in if that's the case.
Send the resume in. Pretty sure Siddhartha didn't take many resumes, though. It doesn't seem like a field where you attach your CV. Hey, let me become a monk.
You live the resume.
I am the resume.
Yeah, we talk about kind of taking advantage of teams' mistakes, and for the most part, offensively, that's the type of team that Kennesaw State is. They do that offensively with their aggressive base running, with their aggressive at-bats. The missing piece here is going to be to keep it locked on defense.
1-2 strikes here on Trisha Awald. I mean, the heart of this Tech order between Awald and Cruz, who have combined thus far to hit 9 home runs on the year. And on top of that, they're lefty-righty. Awald goes down on strikes, and that'll close out the bottom of the fourth. The Yellow Jackets tack on 2 more runs thanks to a home run from Cameron Stanford, her 3rd of the year, 2nd in as many games, and we're off to the 5th. Early evening here in Midtown Atlanta, top of the 5th at Mewborn Field, a 5-1 lead for Georgia Tech. Let's take a look at how we got here. It was a 3-run first for the Yellow Jackets after Kennesaw State put up their first run. You saw Katie Cruz dumping in an RBI single, Sky Webb slapping one up the middle, and then Cameron Stanford with a solo homer in the bottom of the 4th. So that's where we're at. Pinch hitter checking in here for Kennesaw State is Kristen Florence, redshirt freshman from Hampton, Georgia. And Florence will step in for the 9-hole hitter, Jesse Mullen, and takes a called strike 1. Florence thus far in the season, 2 for 4, 3 runs scored. Also drawn a walk, so she's been effective at starting an inning for Kennesaw State as they try and climb back in this one.
Again, a freshman really kind of taking advantages of the opportunities that she's given with the occasional pinch hit situations. That's exactly how you work your way into a lineup as an underclassman.
Without a start, but as we said, reached in 3 of 5 plate appearances this year. And she slaps one to Cruz, and the transfer as quick as the contact.
Yeah, that's great execution there by Cruz, because, again, with a slapper, you have no time to really, bobble the ball. You have to get it in and out as quick as you can. Not bad execution there by Florence. Just want to move it into the 5-6 hole a little bit closer.
Called strike 1. Morgan Bruce settling into a rhythm here in the circle at the Mew. Haley, we were discussing earlier about the facility here in Mewborn Field.
Yeah.
Get a look at the backdrop and straightaway center and what that meant to you to come here as we approach the 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, it's kind of wild because I remember when this, was the ground broke, and then I remember the grand opening. Yeah, the field is just really pristine, and not only the amenities and where the audience is able to sit, but the actual field itself. I mean, the grass is so well taken care of. The grounds crew here at Georgia Tech just does a phenomenal job. But I'll tell you, the real thing that sealed the deal was that locker room. The locker room is phenomenal, which came the spring of my freshman year.
Which I have been told also serves as a dance floor.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much. Yeah, we had the DDR back in the day. I don't know what they have now, the kids these days, but we worked that Dance Dance Revolution.
I'm certain. But the 10-year anniversary coming up in a couple of weeks, March 10th. Got to go all the way back to 2009. Tennessee Martin came in. The Yellow Jackets swept a doubleheader that afternoon to open it up at Shirley Clements Mewborn Field. Top of the order due up here in Hannah Thomason. She's worked the count full. Georgia Tech will honor the facility later this year, by the way, in April.
It's a good at-bat there by Thomason. Thomason's been struggling to connect so far this game, so really working on being patient and getting on base however you can. That's exactly what you need to be doing as a leadoff, especially if you're struggling to make contact.
Here's Maddie Roth at the dish. Kennesaw State looking to find a way to answer those 2 runs Georgia Tech was able to put up in the 4th. And this is the part of the lineup you'd like to try and get it done with.
Absolutely, if it's going to happen. This is who I want.
And Thomason takes off on the ball in the dirt. Nice read with her speed.
Yeah,
Any
great read.
crack in the door, it gives her the license to try and pick up another 90 feet.
Definitely, and I'm sure a base runner like Thomason is one who kind of has that green light. As a coach, there's going to be a player or two if they are aggressive on the base paths where you give them the green light, where, you know, I don't have to call it. But that one was just a good read. You see it in the dirt, and immediately you go. There's no time for hesitation.
So Allison Owen talking things over here. Trip McKay working through his signs to Thomason aboard second. If you're able to get a couple runners on here, Haley, all of a sudden you're looking at Lexi Solorzano as the tying run. Leads the A-Sun in homers. Thomason trying to be that fire starter at the top of the lineup as she stands aboard second base. A friendly count for Maddie Roth, 3rd-team All-American last year. And a much-needed strike 1.
Yeah, that's a great spot to hit.
Reaching a little bit there. It might have been ball 3.
Yeah, that's interesting. That the pitch before was a better one to hit, but I think the pitch before she was probably like, ooh, should have swung at it. So a little more aggressive this next one.
You can think yourself in circles in softball, right?
Oh, yeah. Lose your mind trying to predict what pitch is coming. You just got to read it.
Well, and that right there opens an interesting conversation. You know, as a player, I think everyone's different. But how much information do you want? How much are you trying to guess along versus just be an athlete up there and react?
That's right. And I mean, I can't speak for every school, but a school like Georgia Tech, you had a lot of very data-driven women. So we watched a lot of film. We were, very into the statistics and, familiarized ourselves with, what pitchers, what pitching staff we were going to be facing that week, which I'm sure everyone does. But it's one of those things where you have to take it for what it's worth. The data goes as far as it can, and then it's just your talent.
Struck foul once more.
turn this into a pretty strong at bat here by Roth.
This will be the 8th pitch from number 8. And she lost her.
That's a great at bat there by Roth, staying patient, fighting off the pitches that she didn't want.
4th walk issued by Bruce today, but back-to-back free passes here in the 5th, and now Jade Lee steps in, and now you're getting to the bigger bats in this lineup. Lee 2 doubles on the year, but keep in mind she's only started 6 games. Does have some home run power in her bat.
And with both of her prior hits being so far pulled, she's in a good position of having a productive at bat here. With speed at second.
And by the way, that 10th anniversary celebration of Newborn Field scheduled for March 30th, Saturday afternoon against Duke. Hope everyone can make it out here and catch what will be just the 2nd ever Duke-Georgia Tech softball game here at Newborn Field. First time Duke's ever played down here, launching their program last year.
Yeah. That's just, I mean, that's huge for the conference.
Mixing a little old with a little new, right?
Yeah.
So 2 aboard, 1 out. Bruce looking for a ground ball here, but gotta get herself in a better count. There's a strike. Now 2-2. I'm telling you right now, not that Jade Lee can't drive it around herself, but Trip McKay's sitting here saying, all right, find a way to get Lee aboard, and brand new ball game with Solorzano coming up.
Exactly, really in a prime spot in the lineup to be in this situation.
And they've earned it, too. This is the 3rd straight hitter who's gone deep into the count against Morgan Bruce. Is that Amber Johns warming up down in the Yellow Jacket pen?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Oh, those wrists did everything they could trying to hold that back. Didn't go, said third base umpire Richie Sexton, so the 3rd consecutive full count. Hannah Thomason walked, she's at second. Maddie Roth walked, she's at first. Close enough to where Lee couldn't avoid pulling the trigger. This is another great at-bat. So the Owls' 3rd time through here against Bruce, really grinding now.
Yeah, more pitches in these at-bats. I think the Owls are being a little more patient this 2nd time through the lineup.
And a rope over the head of Sky Webb. It'll go off the bottom of the wall. 1 run comes in to score. Thomason with great speed. She had to hold on it, but the runners behind her were moving all the way.
Yeah, that was just great execution there by Lee. That had some giddy up to it. It didn't look like it hit as hard.
No, this is just shows you the strength.
Yeah, that was kind of all arms. Sky Webb can't quite get there. And then you got speed of Thomason, is no question.
No. And to be honest with you, Haley, it looked like a swing that might produce some backspin, so you thought there might be some time, but boy, that, like you said, had a lot of giddy up to it. A deep fly to right, catch made by Huckabee. Throw will go to 3rd. Not in time. Both runners tag. A sac fly from Solorzano, and just like that, it's a 5-3 ball game with a runner at 3rd.
Yeah, Solorzano doing a good job hitting it hard enough, deep enough to where you can score your runner. Doesn't matter after that. They're trying to tack back on the score. Don't make it bigger than it is.
Looks like a pinch hitter now for Kennesaw State, 2nd of the inning after we saw Kristen Florence ground out to 3rd to begin the frame. This is Sarah Womack, sophomore from Alpharetta, Georgia, out of South Forsyth, representing the tying run. Womack 2 for 12 on the year, does have a double and an RBI though. Sends it right back to Bruce, and she'll fire on to first for out number 3. So Morgan Bruce bends but doesn't break. Keeps the lead intact for Georgia Tech, but Kennesaw State trims it back to 2. We go to the bottom of the 5th. 5-3 our score after Georgia Tech and Kennesaw State trade 2-run innings. Here's a look at your preseason ACC poll. No surprise, defending national champion Florida State, the heavy favorite in the ACC. But look who got that other first place vote. That'd be Virginia Tech. And that's not only relevant because that is Georgia Tech's first conference weekend, it's also relevant because their head coach is first-year head coach.
Yeah.
Pete DeMoore, who spent the last 2 seasons up I-75 at Kennesaw State, leading them to 79 wins in 2 years. That just tells you the type of respect that Florida State and their head coach have for Kennesaw State.
Because, I mean, no stranger. DeMoore came from a similar situation to McKay here, came in from assistant jobs in Missouri, so was a part of some really top-tier teams, had gone to the Women's College World Series, so no surprise in 2 years he took the team and improved them as much as he did.
And
There's
Katie
one.
Cruz sends a deep drive to left field. No
Cleared the
doubt.
shed.
That is her 6th of the season. And while we had a rocket from Cameron Stanford, that was a moonshot.
That was
A towering blast. I think that got above O'Keefe at its highest point.
yeah, that, I mean,
Number 19.
the only question was it going to go through a window at that point? I mean, just textbook. You could freeze that swing at any given point, and you could get a model shot there.
Smooth swing from the third baseman from Chicago. Ball 1 there on Crosby Huckabee. Second home run of the day for the Yellow Jacket offense. And that is her 20th career home run.
Ooh,
Diving
that's a nice
stop
play.
by Mullen, but not in time as Huckabee has the wheels to leg it out.
That was a great grab out there by Mullen. Hit hard. That's a perfect hit. She did what she needed to do, threw from her knees. Crosby legged it out.
Just not enough on the throw that time from Mullen. So we've got a tank of a homer and then an infield single so far. Yellow Jackets showing their offensive versatility.
Yeah, and it's always interesting, that at-bat after a home run. You know, what are you going to do with it as a pitcher and as that next batter up? Either you're going to keep the momentum going or shut it down.
Yellow Jackets 7 hits today, 3 for extra bases. Those 2 homers along with Brianna Roper's double. They've been efficient offensively, 6 runs home and only 3 runners left.
Good look there by Webb.
Yeah, can I call that a manicure right there going over the fingertips?
Watch your fingers. I was a 3-time handbreaker, so
3-time handbreaker?
3 times in 3 years.
All softball related, or?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
every single one. Had 2 boxer fractures, and then my freshman year was the last one. Ivy Renfro at Tennessee cracked my thumb in half.
Was it a clean break though?
Oh, it was.
Well,
just
that's
the
courteous
cleanest.
of her.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You don't want to deal with a fracture. Just go ahead and snap it.
Yeah, I think of her every time it rains. Still numb.
Lifted to left, handled by Goki.
Yeah, just under that one.
But all in the batter's box, or?
My last one was the batter's box. Oh no, my first one and last one batter's box. The other one, I still don't know to this day what happened. something happened between my slide and a collision at second base.
Okay.
Maybe I got sat on. That'd be a good story.
Pinch hitter coming in. This is number 16, Sage Pye, sophomore from Stockton, California. Saw her put together roughly a 16-pitch at bat last time she stepped in here at the MU against Illinois.
Yeah, again, I think a big benefit to this Georgia Tech lineup is the depth that they have in this DH role. There's a lot of players that are trusted to be put into a pinch hitting situation, which has not always been the case.
She steps in at the designated hitter spot, replacing Drew Puckett for the time being. Pye on the year, 0 for 6. Does have an RBI and does have a walk. Huckabee at first. Haley Andrews has fought hard, got off to a rough start in the first. Looked sharp through the second and third. Lifted down the right field line, that'll land foul. He's gotten beat in a couple of homers here since.
Yeah, kind of a mixture of missed spots and good adjustments there by the Georgia Tech lineup. Sage Pye picking really good pitches to hit here. She's got a good eye, making good connection, just needs one to land.
Still looking at that first hit here in 2019. And that won't be it. Nice job of backtracking by Taylor Cates. Second baseman hauls in the second out. One more time.
Yeah, it looks like just kind of got under it. Cates does a good job tracking it back.
Toughest part of that might have been keeping her foot in there at the end.
Yeah. Slippery out there.
Got some rain moving in this weekend for that I-75 challenge. Cameron Stanford at the plate now for Georgia Tech. Cameron, by the way, her father Mike, former Georgia Tech baseball player. Part of Jim Morris's first 3 teams here on the Flats, 82, 83, and 84.
I love those stories where one of the parents plays and then the kid follows in their footsteps.
Well, and more than just baseball and softball and both being Yellow Jackets, you know, you hope Cameron Stanford's, you know, her first 3-4 years, under the first 3-4 years as Eileen Morales as a head coach,
Right.
you hope that tenure is as successful as what Jim Morris was able to deliver in the 80s and early 90s.
Absolutely.
Just down the street. Coach Morales in her second season delivered the Yellow Jackets to their highest win total since 2013 as
It's a good
Sanford
read.
puts a charge into one, and that'll be off the wall. Extra bases for Sanford. Holding at third is Crosby Huckabee, and that's another payday for Cameron Sanford as she motions towards her bench.
Yeah, that is a tough pitch to read and to react to. Andrews, you see she throws up that perfect off-speed pitch, but Stanford sits back on it and is able to recognize it early. Thomason does a good job of reading that ball off the fence.
So Cameron Stanford aboard at second with another extra base hit. She's really finding her stride here these last couple of games. She's got 8 hits on the year, 6 for extra bases. And now here is pitching coach Camden Decker. His first season, a graduate of FIU down in South Florida. Coach Eileen Morales conversing with the current Georgia Tech shortstop, Bailey Zeitler. It's going to be a real confidence-building moment here for Bailey. She's able to come through with a big hit here and tack on a few more runs and get the Yellow Jackets some more separation.
Right. As a freshman, you want to be in these situations as much as you can to get comfortable, and I know that's something that the coaches, again, are being intentional about, putting the girls in situations in practice, but got to be able to perform in a game.
Bailey's already displayed plenty of patience this afternoon.
Yep.
A couple walks in her first 2 play appearances. And not being over anxious here, despite having Huckabee at third and Stanford at second.
And Andrews knows, you know, there's an open base. There's somewhere to put her.
Well, she'll have the red light here. (3-0) on the freshman. Andrews dials in a strike. Kaylee Ellebrecht on base. She's just 5 for her last 6.
Just. That's a good job of Andrews coming back like this. That first strike was a good one to throw with 3-1 because it's not a great pitch to hit, but still a strike.
Cameron Stanford with great wheels at second, Huckabee at third. And down goes Zeiler chasing the fastball away. Yellow Jackets pick up a run on a leadoff homer from Katie Cruz, but Haley Andrews limits the damage, and we ride on to the 6th. Top of the 6th inning as night falls here on the Flats. The Yellow Jackets with a 6-3 lead. Here's a look at the Atlantic Sun preseason softball coaches poll. Defending champs Kennesaw State picked to finish 3rd. They've lost a few players to transfer and graduation. And how about Liberty? First year in the Atlantic Sun. They're picked as the favorites. So that's a lot of respect coming in.
Yeah, definitely.
Called strike here on Bria Dickey. So far tonight, she's 0 for 1. Drew a 4-pitch walker last time up. Morgan Bruce, she's gone the whole way thus far. Her line, 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, walked 4, and 3 strikeouts. That's one area where she'll need to consistently improve throughout the year. Cannot afford to issue the walks.
Yeah, definitely. And I think kind of showing some bright spots there by going after them early. I think we saw it more beginning of this game, but that'll be something to continue to improve on.
Bruce got the start against Mississippi State a couple nights ago over in Starkville. Picked up her 3rd win of the year, trying to pick up win number 4 here tonight and give the Yellow Jackets their 9th win in 15 games, and a couple trends to keep an eye on here. Georgia Tech continuing their strong first inning numbers. They are now outscoring opponents in the first inning 23-11. And by the way, in their previous 8 wins this year, they scored in the first in 7 of them.
That's such a strong statistic to hold. It can seem kind of random, but to score in the first inning is just such a momentum shifter to your side.
And Kennesaw State was able to play the game's first run in the top half as this crank into right field. Nice job by Bria Dickey, almost having her hips fully open and still finding a way to push that ball through the right side.
Yeah, really just kind of starting her steps, almost like a half slap. Open it up. Just poking it through the hole. That's exactly what you want to do.
Looks like we could have a pinch hitter here replacing Taylor Cates as Trip McKay walks through the substitution with our home plate umpire Steve Werner. Other number that Georgia Tech has struggled with this season has been in the 6th inning and later. They have been outscored 23-11 after the 6th, or after the 5th.
Interesting.
So whether it's a starter getting tired or a new arm coming in and not being able to pick up the slack, but No, after the first 5 innings where Tech has been the superior team, 6th and later, it's been a little bit of a leaky faucet.
Yeah, so that's just where you kind of push for that complete game, both offensively and defensively. Keep the pitching momentum, whether it be to switch out pitchers or do what you have to do to keep the hitters on their toes, and then offensively just score early and often. Emphasis on the often.
In her last start, Bruce went 5 innings, allowed just 1 run, and then ran into some heavy trouble there in the 6th inning. Brooke Barfield came on. She was able to stop the bleeding, but did allow a few runs to score, which were charged to Bruce.
Yeah, and this year, more so than the last several, there's more of a complete pitching staff on this Georgia Tech team this year in the circle. You've got Bruce, you've got Johns, you've got Naomi Dickerson, Brooke Barfield, the 2 lefties coming in from last year.
This is
Palmer
Katie
Penholster.
Beg your pardon. This is Katie Bird, by the way. Villa Rica, Georgia native, pinch hitting here in the 7th spot. But no, going back to your point, a snapback throw on the part of Kaylee Ellebrock. You look at what Georgia Tech lost in the circle entering this year. Emily Anderson, just 1 pitcher, but Emily threw 244 innings.
Yeah, it was kind of absurd, and we've said the word before, but she was, definitely a workhorse, but you can only get so far relying on one person, and there's a lot of risk there, with injury, potential, burnout, exhaustion, or if a team just kind of has your number. So at the end of the day, you want to have a complete pitching staff.
You get that type of mileage out of a car, you feel pretty good about it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's what we call a good investment. Emily off pursuing her
medical
MD. I was trying to think of how to phrase that. Yeah.
Her medical career.
Medical school. Swing and a miss. Snap back, throw down to first.
Ellebrock staying aggressive there behind the plate.
Morgan Bruce, take a look at this pitch.
Look at how Kaylee Ellebrock doesn't even plant her feet. She can throw it on a line with that open stance.
Well, she led the ACC a couple years ago in pickoffs with 7.
Yeah, she's quick out the gate.
Called strike here on Olivia Goki. 2nd team all-conference selection a year ago. She's got great speed, just trying to find some way to bring that tying run to the plate here. One down here in the 6th. Georgia Tech surrendered the game's first run in the top of the 1st, scored 3 more in the bottom. It was 3-1 going to the 4th before Tech tacked on 2 more with a home run from Cameron Stanford. Swing and a miss, throw down to 2nd, too high, snow cone grab by Bria Roper to keep that one in the infield. So credit.
And that'll add the 8th stolen base there for Dickey.
8 for 8 on the year. That's just the 10th Georgia Tech has allowed this season. Kennesaw State able to pick up 2 runs in the 5th. Katie Cruz's homer made it 6-3 in the bottom of the 5th. Throw down to first on the pitch in the dirt.
That's a great pitch again there by Bruce, going inside on a slapper. It's just a tough pitch to adjust to.
5th strikeout.
And it looked like it was a little off speed.
A little bend to it. 5th strikeout of the evening for Morgan Bruce. Back-to-back hitter she's Cade now. Katie Bird, pinch hitter. Olivia Goki down with strikes for the 2nd time this evening. Jessie Mullen with 2 outs, trying to find some way to get Hannah Thomason to the plate. And perhaps more importantly, bring home Bria Dickey at 2nd.
That's right.
Cruz completing her 3rd trip through the lineup here. Nice pitch. Last year, Bruce an ERA of 3.03 and 32 1/3 innings. Missed your spot there. And lost her. So a 2-out walk, and again, it's been these 6th, 7th, and beyond innings for Georgia Tech that have bitten them this year, and Kennesaw State's got a chance to, if not at least cut into this lead.
Right, and again, that's kind of the type of team that Kennesaw State is known for being, is they're a really scrappy team, and it's one of those things where no matter what the score is, it is not over till it's over with this type of team.
Well, Trip McKay, a few words of wisdom to Hannah Thomason, the center fielder in her junior year for Kennesaw State. She does lead the team with 10 strikeouts entering play tonight. She's 0 for 2. Comebacker back to the circle, a strikeout swinging, then a walk, and a run scored.
Yeah, she's got really quick feet through her slap, and sometimes that can get a little too fast. So it's important to really kind of take a step back, and no matter what your preference is in your slapping motion, making sure that you're not getting out the box too fast and that you're seeing the ball down, seeing it connect.
What I've noticed the last couple innings from Morgan, a lot more 1-0 counts.
Yeah.
And that one's going to swell to 2-0. Thomason locked and loaded. There's strike one.
And as a slapper, you know, you should not be walked very many times, because that's never the intention, because, you know, the risk doesn't kind of outweighs the reward there. So, you know, if I'm Bruce, I'm going straight for her.
Line drive to left. Caught chest high by Sky Webb. And a sigh of relief from Morgan Bruce and the Yellow Jackets as the tying run comes to the plate in the 6th, but it's left there. We go to the home half in Atlanta. A beautiful look at the Midtown skyline on this Wednesday night. We'll have more of that for you all weekend long if you're able to make it out to the Mew for our I-75 Challenge. A little round-robin affair with the 3 Atlanta-based teams hosting 3 out-of-state teams in Hofstra, Western Carolina, and Fordham. Owls, Jackets, and Panthers will have 5 home games each at their ballparks. Should be a lot of fun to wrap up non-conference play for Georgia Tech before they host a couple midweeks next week, Jacksonville State and Georgia, and then they pack their bags and head on to Blacksburg, Virginia to open ACC play. Hard to believe we're already that close to conference action. And the first
beautiful
pitch.
grab.
Kaylee Ellebrack, 5 for his last 6, but robbed there on a great effort by Jade Lee as she gets a little bit of love from her senior shortstop, Jessie Mullen.
I mean, hit really well. Can't complain about a hit like that. Just beautiful reaction there. That's nothing but reaction.
Curveball misses the target against Bria Roper. 1 for 3 tonight with a double and a run. Georgia Tech looking for a little bit of insurance, and considering who they're going to face in the 7th, that'd be well advised. Was that a bunt attempt from Roper? I couldn't quite tell.
That was a little drag attempt. I haven't seen that from her yet.
Well, normally when you're hitting 480, you don't have to dig into that bag of tricks.
Right, but you see how far back the corners are playing, or not a bad decision if you're just trying something new.
Just to put that thought in the head. Ball and 2 strikes
right,
now.
Sometimes that's all it takes, is just to say, remember, I could do this if I wanted to. And just, you know, keeping people unaware of what's going to happen.
Plenty of power at the top of this Tech lineup. Little tardy on the swing. Down goes Roper on strikes. And another strikeout for Haley Andrews.
Andrews doing a good job keeping that ball outside of Roper's wheelhouse. Not something that she can hit well, keeping it outside the zone.
Here's one more look.
Kind of high outside, just too far out of reach there.
Ball one on Trisha Awald. I think Roper may have been sitting on the off speed there and couldn't pull the trigger fast enough to fight it off. By the way, Andrews' line right now, 5 2/3, 8 hits, 6 runs, 5 earned. 3 walks and 7 strikeouts. What's really burned her tonight have been those extra base hits.
Yeah, definitely.
A couple doubles and a couple homers.
And then an error or two in there, allowing runners to advance.
New second baseman, by the way, in for Kennesaw State is Katie Bird.
It's a nice frame job back there by Solorzano.
Trisha Awald facing off against her old teammates, former Kennesaw State Owl. She was one of the heroes last time these two teams met. Kennesaw State walking off in the bottom of the 10th.
I'm sure that's when Eileen Morales kind of penciled her in as a potential prospect.
Well, seeing everything she had done at the plate statistically last year, hitting 380, all freshman team.
Right, as a freshman,
you
still get a lot of mileage out of her, too.
I think once she saw she could go first all the way home to win the game, she said, you know what, there's nothing she can't do, including take a walk here with 2 outs in the 6th.
Number 20, Katie Cruz.
So bottom of the 6th, that extends an opportunity to Katie Cruz with that walk, who homered last time up. She is 2 for 3, 2 RBI, 2 runs. Ho-hum. What she's done all season long.
That last one was insane. I'm having flashbacks to Hope Rush bombs.
No question.
4 years ago.
Two 2-0 on Cruz. Backside of that circle having fewer and fewer answers as Andrews looks down beneath it. 3-0 here on Cruz. Andrews just trying to wrap up this 6th, give her offense a chance with some dangerous hitters due up for the Owls in the 7th.
It's a nice pitch.
It'll be Maddie Roth, Jade Lee, and Lexi Solorzano. That is 2 preseason All-ASUN selections, along with Jade Lee, who's hitting .467 this year. Ball 4. 2 on now for Crosby Huckabee. Back-to-back 2-out walks. And just 1 base hit. Could make that 7th inning just a little easier. Courtesy runner, pinch runner checking in rather for Georgia Tech. That's Sydney Stavro. A lot of speed from the junior from Beaufort, Georgia.
Yeah, definitely the type of player that's going to be able to hit 2 on a gap shot. So a good opportunity.
Junior from Chattanooga. It looks like we are going to have a mound visit now. Out again, Camden Decker. And those two will chat things over. As we mentioned, specifics on that I-75 challenge. Fordham will travel to the Flats on Friday afternoon, a 1 and 3 o'clock start doubleheader. Saturday it'll be Hofstra for 2 games, again 1 and 3 o'clock. And then Western Carolina, a 1 o'clock Sunday afternoon finale as the Yellow Jackets wrap up their non-conference weekend play for the rest of the month. There's ball 1 on Crosby Huckabee, and right now Andrews, who's already issued 5 walks today, is trying to find the strike zone right now. Liner to second, tricky play, and Katie Bird, who comes in as defensive replacement, works around the base runner who screened her, keeps it calm and collected, and gets the Owls out of the 6th. We go to the 7th. Last hacks for the Owls when we come back. Top of the 7th, Katie Cruz trying to lead the Yellow Jackets to their 9th win of the season. She has done more than her fair share so far this evening. First, this single that drove in the second run of the game, scoring Bria Roper, and then a nice defensive play in third, and then how about this blast to center field from left field from Katie Cruz? Wouldn't have been out anywhere in the ball.
Yeah, I mean, just doing her job all around, being a top producer both defensively and offensively. You really can't ask for much more from especially an upperclassman leadership.
Well, as we said, tough part of the order. New pitcher on the mound for Georgia Tech. Amber Johns trying to close this out. Looked like Allison Owen, pitching coach for Georgia Tech, and head coach Eileen Morales said they don't want to give Maddie Roth, Jade Lee, and Lexi Solorzano a 4th look at Morgan Bruce.
Yeah, I mean, overall, Bruce has done a good enough job to win the game, but I think this is a good decision because, you know, coming into the meat of this lineup like this, you got to throw something new at them.
Johns with the best ERA on the staff, just 3.33. This will be her 10th appearance of the year, 6th out of the pen. And a little pop-up to right field. Crosby Huckabee coming up.
Moved a little at the end. It scared me.
Jade Lee.
So 1 up, 1 down here in the 7th. There is Morgan Bruce looking to pick up win number 4. Now helping calling out the pitches.
Yeah, and I mean, Bruce and Johns make such a good complement. Johns has a little bit more, little heavier of a ball, and is going to have a little more spin. And she has that phenomenal off-speed pitch like you see right there.
Johns looking to become the 4th Yellow Jacket this year to pick up a save. Bruce, Dickerson, and Barfield all have one beside their name. The 0-1 here on Jade Lee. 0-2. Well, Johns has accomplished job number 1, which is assuring that there's no way Lexi Solorzano is going to come up as the tie and run.
Exactly, and then you got Lee here. I mean, all 3 of her connections so far this game have been just really hard. That last one in particular, hitting the fence in left center. So if I'm Johns, I'm focused right here for now.
She yanked 2 to first base, and as you said,
Pulls, yeah.
walloped a double off the left field wall the last time up.
It's not a bad spot. It's a really good eye there by Lee.
I'm not sure Amber would even classify that as a miss.
Right, exactly.
As much as it just didn't get Lee to chase it. Transfer from North Georgia, out of Kennesaw, Georgia. Called strike 3 on the black. Oh, my.
Cool. That's a beautiful pitch.
Yeah, she's trying to fight back a grin right there, isn't she? How about that? Amber said, that was pretty good, wasn't it?
I mean, just touching that outside corner, beautifully framed. That's one with 2 strikes you have got to jump on.
Owls down to their final out. And it's the leading home run hitter in the Atlantic Sun, Lexi Solorzano. I think Amber Johns, Kennesaw native, grew up going to Kennesaw State softball games?
I would say so.
Only once or twice,
Yeah.
I'm certain. Now a chance to secure the win for her Yellow Jackets in her first ever appearance against Kennesaw State. And for all those innings she threw at North Georgia, 18-0 record, ERA below 1. Might be a slightly different thrill than getting the save here.
Yeah.
Lost the plate a little bit here.
I mean,
Raleigh
those kind of numbers, like that's just another big grab for Eileen Morales. I'm sure that was, the top thing she was on the market for this summer, was looking for some pitcher transfers.
Raleigh Williams' spot is due up. It looks like we'll have a pinch hitter, though, if Solorzano's able to reach. 3-0 green light and right into the speed